Administration, $827,000. Business services, $758,000. Maintenance and operations, $1.1 million. School administration, $864,000. Pupil services, $918,000. Central services, $647,000. And student transportation services of $2 million. With respect to the FY 2021 budget, the district has received 72.8% of our budgeted revenues, and we have spent 56.9% of our budgeted expenditures after the first 7 months of the FY 2021 fiscal year. With respect to the 2016 East Blocks, we received approximately $3.4 million for the month of January 2021. So now, after 60 distribution months, which is the total for the 2016 East Blocks, our total cumulative SPLOST receipts are approximately $159.7 million, which is $7.9 million, or 5.2% more than our revised projection. Are there any questions?
Any questions, board members? All right, thank you, Mr. Collier. We have an additional presentation, P2, which is the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. Dr. Lori Rogers, I believe, will be presenting that.
Good afternoon, President Morton, board members, and Dr. Jones. This afternoon, we would like to bring you updates on the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. We always start out with who we are, our vision. Each student will demonstrate strength of character and will be college or career ready, and our mission, which is very important. Today's presentation will impact all areas of our strategic map, victory in our schools, along with our strategic priorities. To help offset costs due to the economic impact of COVID-19, school districts across the nation are receiving federal grants. The United States Department of Education is awarding grants to state educational agencies such as the Georgia Department of Education, which then allocates funding to local school districts such as Bibb County. Allowable uses for the funding include providing supports to at-risk populations, purchasing educational technology, planning for and coordinating school meals, providing mental and health services and supports, implementing activities related to supplemental learning, purchasing cleaning supplies and equipment for facilities, training for staff, as well as ensuring the continuity of core staff and services with the district. The first federal grant we received in response to COVID-19 was the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, known as CARES 1. The Georgia Department of Education received approximately $14 million from the U.S. Department of Education. Bibb County School District utilized the CARES 1 funding in 2020 to assist schools with meals, purchasing cleaning supplies, and to offset the need of furloughs. In December, the second federal grant was announced, CARES Act 2, the Coronavirus Response and Supplemental Appropriations Act. The Georgia Department of Education received $1.7 billion. During the committee meeting today, Mr. Collier presented the district's CARES 2 budget for board approval. Last week, President Biden signed off on a third stimulus package. One of the headliners in the AJC this past week was in reference to this package, the American Rescue Plan Act. The American Rescue Plan Act will provide approximately $4.3 billion to the Georgia Department of Education, of which $3.8 billion will be allocated to school districts. Funds will be available to address COVID-19 relief and recovery, especially learning loss. In fact, school districts will be required to use 20% of their allocation toward this effort. This chart outlines the 3 COVID relief and recovery federal grants and how much funding the United States Department of Education, the Georgia Department of Education, and the Bibb County School District has been allocated. Please note, the district's American Rescue Plan fund amount is tentative until the State Board of Education meeting next week. The State Board must vote on district allocations. In closing, our state school superintendent, Richard Woods, has committed to ensuring that funding to districts are awarded quickly and there is flexibility, yet equity and transparency in how the funds are spent to address the impact COVID-19 has had and continues to have on our state. Thank you.
Board members, are there any questions? Dr. Woodford.
Thank you for that presentation, Dr. Lori Rogers. So this is reimbursable funding, or are they going to send us a check?
It's reimbursable funding. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Dr. Rogers, for your presentation. My first question is in regard to, or request, is that we are looking for making the budget for use of these funds, that we consider our before and after school programs, especially and see how we can extend that for students inside of our district that may need to take more advantage of those services. I'm not sure if we currently charge. Do we currently charge for any of our before and after school programs?
There are programs in schools that provide early care or afternoon care, but then we do have the 21st Century Grant Program, in which we have 11 schools that participate in before and after school programs at no charge to families.
So there are some programs that we do charge and some programs that we do not charge?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I would, hope that as we look at ways to utilize these funds, that we may be able to get more students into these before and after school programming at no charge. So that's something I would like to recommend. Secondly, and all this is along the lines of student support services. So I know currently the district provides juniors and seniors the opportunity to take the SAT and the ACT once. But I would also like to recommend that we look at maybe offering those test services to our students twice inside this academic year. One thing that this pandemic has shown is that the locations, right, for students to be able to take these tests were decreased. And so a number of our students had to either go to a private school or out of county in order to take these tests in order to get into their college of choice in some matters, and also to apply for scholarships. And so if we had an opportunity to provide the SAT school day testing for our students during the regular school day at no charge, that will be an opportunity to ensure that our 3E initiative is more met within this next school year. Would you agree?
That is definitely a great suggestion that we will take into consideration as we are planning the budget. Thank you for offering that.
Thank you.
Dr. Rogers, you mentioned reimbursement. Reimbursement would come from the state or from the federal government?
From the state.
Thank you. Any other questions, board members? Thank you, Dr. Rogers. Mr. Collier. You also have some information items. Please review those. I would note that our 8th Congressional District Representative on the State Board of Education, Jason Downey, one of our former board members, will be holding a town hall at Howard High School on April the 22nd at 7 p.m. I'd like you to join me in being there. He does a lot of good work for us, and it'd be nice to support him by our presence. I do believe before we adjourn, Dr. Dillard, you wanted to say something, I believe?
Yes, I wanted to ask, is that meeting virtual?
It can be. There will be both my understanding of both a live presence as well as an online presence as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you to all responsible for all of this. I am so grateful to be appreciated, but I don't have this much I can give you for appreciating you. But I appreciate you, thank you, love you, everybody who put this together. I feel so appreciated. And I just love you all so much. I do have one question. I did ask Dr. Jones, he never answered. I wanted to know why I didn't get one of those tall red things. But thank you all for everything, and I do appreciate everything. And I might have to buy me one of those red things. But that's okay. I still thank you for everything you've given to me. Love you all.
I'll let you know after the meeting why you didn't get one, Dr. Dillard. It's okay. All right. With that, yes, Dr. Woodford. Sorry.
I just want to remind Dr. Jones that he was going to give us an update on Kelly services.
Update on Kelly services.
Dr. Butler, please come forward and share with the board an update on the Kelly Services, which is our substitute program.
Good afternoon, President Morton, board members, and Superintendent Dr. Curtis Jones. Very quickly, I'll give you an update. Next month, our new Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources, Mr. Emmanuel French, will give you a full-out PowerPoint presentation implementation. However, I will give you a quick update in reference to that process. It's going very smoothly. We have a standing meeting every week with the leadership of Kelly Services and the leadership of the Human Resources Department and members of the accounting department here from the school district. Here are some of the highlights of the last weekly meeting that we've had this past Tuesday. We are putting lawn signs in all of our campus lawns. They hopefully have been delivered to procurement, and they will be delivered to the school to continue to market our new partnership with Kelly. We have been working diligently with the TRS services as well, and ensuring that Kelly will continue to be able to employ our retired teachers. There are provisions at TRS that retired teachers have to meet, and we want to ensure that those teachers would still be allowed to work in 2 different capacities. We have made available a computer lab at Central High School. We've had a number of our substitutes who have had difficulty with the transition paperwork, just navigating to get the paperwork completed. So Central High School has been gracious and opened a small computer lab, and as a result, we've had 2 Kelly staff members along with one of the Human Resources Department staff members go to that lab, and we've opened it and advertised, and we've begun to get a steady stream of our current substitutes who've been having technical problems getting the applications finished. I'm happy to say that our goal is to have at least between 400 to 600 substitutes employed in order for us to reach that goal of 90% fill rate at all of our schools whenever we have an absence. To date, maybe I shouldn't say to date, as of this past Tuesday, we had hired 64 new substitutes through our advertisement of our partnership with Kelly. Those are brand new substitutes that have never worked with our district before. We had transitioned of the 600 that we had on our records. We had transitioned 225 successfully into the Kelly Services employment. And we had 21 substitutes on yesterday to show up at Central High School in order to receive services and support to help them to transition. So we're well on our way to getting to that 400 to 600 substitutes in place. I also want to say in closing, spring break is next week for the school district. Because we see the success of having the lab open, we've identified 3 days, 3 half days, where Kelly Services will be in Central High School as well. The maintenance department has identified a staff member who will be there with them in order to have our staff members present to continue with the assistance of transitioning substitutes, because that strategy has been very successful. So that gives you a quick update on the implementation transition process. Is going very well. We're very far into our way of getting to that 400 to 600 substitutes in place. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else out there? Time is now 6:30 and the committee meeting is adjourned. We'll start off the regular meeting in just a minute. Good evening, everybody. It's now 6:38 p.m. I call to order the monthly board meeting of the Bibb County Board of Education. Today is Thursday, March 18, 2021. Welcome, everyone. First up on the agenda, the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Mr. Michael Scott, Assistant Principal at Rutland High School. So stand, everyone.
Please say the pledge along with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No certificate, Dr. Jones? No certificate?
No, sir.
All right.
Sorry about that.
Next, we have the invocation, which will be given this evening by Pastor Joey Ellis of Stone Edge Church here in Maine.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Dr. Jones and distinguished members of the school board, I as a pastor want to say thank you for everything that you have done over the last year and some odd months in the chaos of everything that we have had to put up with. Thank you for how you've responded. It has not been without challenge. It has not been without difficult days, but I want to say thank you for everything that you've done for your educators, for your students, for your teachers, and for everybody that you impacted. Let's pray. Father, in these moments, I lift up these leaders and I lift up all of Bibb County. I pray first for protection over all of these leaders, that your hand, Jesus, would protect from harm, would protect from sickness, would protect from everything that would come against our teachers, our students, our administrators, and our leaders around this room. I pray secondly for peace. The peace that passes all understanding will guard our hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. I pray peace over leaders as they have to grapple with decisions that can be very challenging and that impact thousands of lives on an everyday basis. I pray peace over our teachers, who are lovingly and caringly caring for our students every day, from the youngest of our students to our oldest. And then finally, Father, I pray for provision. I pray that you would open the windows of heaven and you would pour out everything that our city needs, our school district needs, all the way down to our teachers and especially into the lives of our students. Provide everything that we need, and we recognize that that provision ultimately comes from you. So God, over this meeting tonight, I pray your blessing, your peace, your protection, and your provision over all of it. And it's in your beautiful name I pray, Jesus. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Ellis. Next, we have the report of the superintendent.
Good evening, board members, and happy School Board Appreciation Week. We appreciate everything that you do. First this evening, we would like to introduce you to our newest administrators. As their names are called, our administrators will walk through and greet each of you. Each administrator will be presented with a swag bag from Dr. Johnson as a small welcome to their new role. We'll start off with Emmanuel Frazier, the new Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources. Dr. Erica Tunstall, Principal of Veterans Elementary School. LaShawn Crawford, Principal of Union Elementary School. Dr. Shindra Dupree, Principal of Central High School. Michael Scott, Assistant Principal of Rutland High School. Congratulations to all of our new administrators.
At this time, I'd like to ask representatives from Atrium Health Madison, Miss Cindy Busby, and the North Central Health District, Dr. Jimmy Smith and Candace Lewis, to come forward, please. Earlier this month, teachers and other school employees became eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine, an important step to our continued return to normalcy in the classroom. Atrium Health Madison, led by President and CEO Delvecchio Finley and his team, played a key role in this process, providing vaccinations for our employees during a special event on Saturday, March 13th. The North Central Health District, under the leadership of Dr. Jimmy Smith, assisted the Bibb County School District, beginning with our 65 and over employees, and on March the 11th for our district staff. In addition, the agency has maintained an open line of communication for information and protocols related to COVID-19, which has further protected our employees and families. In recognition of their valuable support, I'd like to ask Dr. Lori Rogers, Assistant Superintendent of District Effectiveness and Federal Programs, to read the proclamations at this time.
A resolution of the Bibb County School District, Macon, Georgia. Whereas the Board of Education of Bibb County has supported the diverse education needs of children in Macon-Bibb County since its inception in 1872, and continues to develop children to become contributing leaders, scholars, and citizens of a global society through a highly trained staff and engaged community. Whereas the Bibb County School District coordinated with numerous public health, medical, and governmental partners to support the needs, to support the safety and health of everyone in the district, to alleviate the devastating impact of the pandemic. Whereas Atrium Health Navicent and the North Central Health District partnered with the Bibb County School District to provide COVID-19 vaccinations to teachers, administrators, and staff to support the return to face-to-face instruction and put us closer to slowing the progression of this pandemic. Now, be it therefore resolved that the Bibb County School District, teachers, staff, and students, joined with the members of the Board of Public Education of Bibb County, commend the administrators, medical professionals, and staff of Atrium Health Navicent and the North Central Health District for their contributions in providing high-quality medical care and vaccination support to curb the damaging effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. We owe a debt of gratitude to everyone on your staff that were unwavering dedication, compassion, and support in caring for those in our school district and the greater Macon-Bibb County community. Presented this 18th day of March 2021, signed by Dr. Curtis L. Jones, Jr., Superintendent of Schools.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Before y'all leave, I want to say something, and I know Dr. Dillon wants to say something as well. The date that teachers and staff became eligible was March 8th. And thanks to the planning between the system and y'all, we had shots in arms 5 days later. And we all know that having access to the vaccine for our teachers and staff is critical to getting kids back in school 100%, as well as keeping our schools safe. So thank you so much for what you've done. Dr. Dillon?
I want to personally say thank you. I was among some of those first from the school system. I think they were 65 and older. And some of the first to get a shot. And I was so pleased with you all's organization. Everything was well organized, well laid out. So many friendly faces and nice people and kind, and I was very impressed. And thank you all so much. I got my first shot in my right arm and the second one in my left arm. And each time I walked out excited and happy that I got it, and excited that this was turning the page to a new era in Bibb County and in the country. Thanks to you all for a job well done. And I have to say thanks to our liaison, Mr. Jamie Cassidy. He worked so well in coordinating everything with you all, and we are very proud of him, and we are very grateful to you all for everything you did. Then you came along and did the teachers, and I was told that was well organized, and it was well put together. Thank you. We appreciate everything that you've done for our community. You made a difference in the lives of our children, our parents, and especially our teachers and staff. Thank you.
Dr. Smith and Ms. Busby, would any of you all like to say anything?
All right. Good evening, Board. Thank you on behalf of North Central Health District and Macon-Bibb County Health Department. We do appreciate this early on in the pandemic. It was kind of rough when we didn't have the vaccine, and now that we have it, we're working as hard as we can to get it in arms. So I'm going to stop there because our night is not over. We have 500 folks scheduled tomorrow, 502 scheduled for vaccines tomorrow. Cherry Blossom starts tomorrow. So we also need to make sure that you're safe while you're eating out. So we're still on the job tonight. Thank you.
On behalf of Delvecchio Finley, he extends his sorrow that he could not be here with us tonight. He has a board meeting also that conflicted. But I just want to say, not only as a healthcare worker and someone who wanted this to happen for the school system, I'm also a parent of children in the Bibb County school system. So I deeply understand the idea of returning our community to normalcy. And I think that begins with making sure that all of our teachers and administration and support staff can all be safe. So we appreciate the part that we played in that, and deeply appreciate Jamie Cassidy's organization, because that made it smooth as glass for us to facilitate that for the teachers. So like Dr. Smith, we have lots of vaccines, and now our job is to get them in even more arms. So always let us know if we can help you. Thank you for the
Thank you, Ms. Busby and Dr. Smith. So board members, due to COVID-19, we have been limited to the number of people who may attend board meetings. We still want to highlight the positive celebrations happening in our district and have put together a video highlighting this month's student and staff recognitions. Please watch with us now.
I like the video, that was very impressive, by the way. Next, we have invitation to visitors to address the board. Ms. McGee, do we have any? All right, thank you. Do we need executive session, Dr. Jones? No, sir. Okay. Then next up, we have the consent agenda, which would call for a motion to approve the minutes from our prior board meeting, as well as all the items you passed unanimously at the committee meeting. For the purpose of the consent agenda, we'll be only considering the minutes through PS3. We'll handle PS4 separately. So at this point, I'd ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda consisting of confirmations of minutes from the board meeting of February 18, 2021, FSS1 through FSS7, PR1 through PR6, and PS1 through PS3. Motion by Dr. Woodford.
Second.
Second by Mr. Freeman. Discussion. There being none, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by the word aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. That passes unanimously. Next, we have PS4, which is teacher contract recommendations for 2021-2022. And before I get to the actual motion itself, what I'll be asking for is voting aye, then voting nay, and then abstaining, if that's appropriate, so we can make sure we have a clear record for the minutes. At this point, do I have a motion to approve PS4 teacher contract recommendations for 2021-2022? Motion by Dr. Woodford.
Second, Hamlin.
Second by Ms. Hanlon. Any discussion? If not, those in favor of the motion, let it be known by the word aye. Aye. And let's say for the benefit, if you raise your hand if you voted aye. So we have Dr. Garrett, Dr. Woodford, Darrell Morton, Mr. Jackson, and Ms. Hanlon. Any nays? Right, there are no votes. Hard way to say that. Any abstentions?
Abstention.
Abstention by Mr. Freeman, Dr. Dillard, and Ms. Johnson. With that, PS4 does pass unanimously of those voting. Thank you very much. Is there any new business?
No, sir.
All right, any old business?
No, sir.
And, well, the time is now 6:58, and this regular board meeting is adjourned. Thank you for coming, everybody. Stay safe.
Thank you. Fantastic.